Christian truths for living. Take our big run at it, and then we're done. The core Christian truth for living. The Bible clearly teaches us that God is the creator of everything. The Bible begins with its opening words, "In the beginning, God created." It affirms this truth over and over in the pages of the Scriptures. Secondly, then, God made humanity in his own image. He made us like him, spiritually and morally. God is a spirit, so our likeness to him is primarily a spiritual likeness, not in fingers and noses. We live, we think, we feel, we create, we design, we appreciate beauty. We have a spiritual likeness to God and a moral likeness to God. We can tell right from wrong. We believe in justice. We're offended by injustice. God has made us like him in his image to use language, an incredibly powerful and frankly supernatural ability. God made us to appreciate beauty and with a desire for beautiful things. God made us with a sense of morality, what's right, what's wrong, and that's not natural. It is supernatural. What's natural is what we see in nature. The strong eat the weak, the survival of the fittest. What's natural is a terrible, terrible standard for morality, and people know it. Animals are amazing. They don't create courtrooms and laws to try to get justice. Logic and science clearly demonstrate that the universe is not eternal and cannot have made itself. The universe is wearing out. It's wearing out. First and second laws of thermodynamics, everything we continue to learn about the universe reminds us that it hasn't been here forever, and it won't last forever. It had a beginning, and it's headed for an end. But yet, it's here. It must have come from somewhere, and it can't have made itself. The most reasonable conclusion is the existence of a creator. Wherever you find information, by the way, you have found intelligence. I challenge you again to consider DNA. Consider the simplest living cell. They are staggeringly complex and information systems. It does not work unless you have information in the code and a way to decode and use it. There is no remotely plausible explanation for how this came about, except from intelligence. The simplest living cell, like a Boeing 747 assembled from a junkyard. For evolution, the plane would need to be even more complex and able to reproduce. And yet that simple cell is more complex than any airplane. Christians then have always believed in this, stood for this belief in God's creation. As the Nicene Creed says, we believe in one God, the Father Almighty, maker of heaven and earth, all things visible and invisible, by whom all things were made, the Lord and giver of life. And this belief in God changes the way that we live our lives. It changes the way that we live in two ways. We know that our lives are not meaningless. We have a purpose. If I could just encourage you as you leave here today, our belief in our Creator means something for you personally. You're not an accident. Your life might be hard, but it matters. There's a purpose for it. And so let's treat others as the image bearers of God, because they are.